I'm not going to say I was wrong per se. What I will say though is that we are in a tricky situation with Raptor right now. So every time there's a new season, we get a new operator. We had Suniva and everyone was worried about the shield and how OP they were going to be. And yeah, they were pretty good, but they weren't as OP as everyone was saying. Then we've got Nox, who is the silent assassin. Again, everyone was freaking out, saying he was going to be OP, and he is very good, but it's not like everyone complained about him that much, actually. Then the next season, we got Tempest, and again, a whole hubbub about how she's going to be broken, and guess what? She wasn't that broken, nor did many people play her. She just did get a buff though this season, and that tells you how broken she was when she needed a buff one season after she came out. And I will say this, she is a lot better now. But what I've learned during this whole time when people were talking about new operators and when they just find out about them without even playing them is I always tell people, it's okay, let's see how they are and then let's have a witch hunt. You know, let's get the pitchforks out later on. Well, we just got Raptor added and the pitchforks are out. This is the one time that I would say, okay, maybe it's time for me to get my pitchfork, you know? Maybe we can get a quick pitchfork here, Frankie. Before we jump into Raptor and what we need to do to maybe fix him, or is he even broken, you know, all that stuff, I do want to talk about the beginning of the season, how this is always a glaring issue with me, and it really does show off how bad the barters actually are in this game. See, what happens is everything goes up in price at the beginning of a season because more people come into the game to play. So you can see things like the MK2 vest here. It's 300,000 right now for a purple vest. Things get out of hand, but then you're like, okay, you know what? I'll just barter for some items. Okay, first of all, the barter cooldown, way too long. I don't technically know how long it is because I don't know when it resets. You can get like 2 helmets, 2 of the good DICH helmets a day, and then you're kind of screwed. Also, the items you need to barter for these items go up also. So all these item barters now are just like, it's not even worth it, or it's just crazy prices. This is where I think the glaring issues are with Delta Force is the barters, stuff like this. The economy isn't yet balanced and it's understandable for a new game, but I still want to see it kind of tighten up a bit. We also got a new layout for seasonal missions, and this was supposed to be easier for people. It's supposed to be easier to get the 3x3, but I'm going to personally tell you, I'm pretty confused a lot of times when I look at it. Like, it is kind of straightforward, but it's not at the same time. So the new seasonal missions did get its own tab now, which is really nice. But now you look at this layout and you're like, okay, this is a lot harder to kind of get a grasp on than before, right? It is fairly straightforward. There are a couple of confusing things that have to do with stars, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it does show you can get the 3x3 now. You have to reach the final stage of the operation directive. You need to complete any 2 collector missions, complete any 2 fate contracts, and then you have to complete the final mission and claim the reward. So if you do all that, you get the 3x3. So when you first get into the collector quests, you'll see a bunch of reds or golds that you need to give up in order to complete these missions. Now, yes, they do have to be found in raids, so don't waste your money on the flea market trying to get them. You should know that it does refresh once a day. And the biggest one I want to talk to you about is how you can lock these in place. So let's just take, for example, this top one. Let's say you have a battery power or a power battery pack, and you're like, you know what? It's pretty easy to find the watch. So what you can do is you can just lock this in place until you find the watch, and then then these 2 will refresh, but this one won't. So if we lock this in place, we also get 3 refreshes every day. So if we want to refresh, we can. We'll just refresh. It'll do these 2. Same thing. Say you have the bust of Claudius and you're like, you know what? I can find the smooth bore eventually. You can lock those if you want. Not to brag or anything. I already completed my 2. I'm just saying. So after that, we're going to take a look at the fate contracts. And these are a lot harder, but you only, again, have to complete 2. And as you can see, there's more that open up as we go on in the season. So right now we do have Family Plan, where you have to kill Saeed 2 times. We have to kill Desmoulins 1 time on Space City, the helicopter pilot 1 time on Brikesh, and go in Tide Prison hard and kill the warden 1 time. Now, you don't have to do this without dying or anything. You just have to kill them and that's it. You don't even have to survive. Or if you want, you can do Thrifty, which I think is actually one that is is very doable. You do have to extract with a total earnings of 7.5 million alloy without dying. So that doesn't mean you have to do it in one raid. You can do it in 7 raids, 10 raids, as long as you don't die on a normal or hard operation. It just accumulates. Very doable. And this one, you have to, in any normal or hard operation, while carrying an undecoded mandel brick, you have to kill 1 enemy operator, then you have to decode the brick, then you have to extract. So probably these 2 are going to be your bread and butter. I'm not sure if we can see what these are. Oh, we can. I haven't even taken a look at these yet. So in the Tide Prison hard operation, kill 3 enemy operators. In Tide Prison hard operation, extract 1 time from any powered extraction point, earning 3.5. Yeah, we're not going to do that one. You know what I mean? It's okay. No one wants to go to Tide Prison. Little gamer chair boys are there. You know what I'm saying?
Clara!
In Zero Dam normal or Eternal Night operation, complete 1 operation wall breaker task, complete 1 operation ascended task in Space City normal or hard. That's super doable, you guys. That one's actually like, don't stress. That one comes in 11 days. That one's okay. That one's, yeah, I like that one. Expert Handler, use a magnetic bomb to kill 1 operator as Viren, complete 1 operation ascend task as Tempest, use any suppressed firearm to kill 2 enemy operators as Nox. This is all like, why would you do this when you can do this? What? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Nope. In any Zero Dam normal operation, use any shotgun or pistol to kill 2 enemy operators. Must not be equipped with a ballistic vest, helmet, or backpack when entering the match. If extraction fails during the mission progress will be reset. In any Space City or Brakesh normal, use any shotgun pistol to kill 1 enemy operator. That's very doable too. Like, this is all super doable. And I'll explain why you might have to do more than 2 if you're a hardcore person. So you just have to complete any 2 of these fate contracts, any 2 of these collectors, and then you'll have these done, right? Now, where it gets a little tricky and it's a little confusing is the operation directive, because there's a star system here and it says out of 20, but like to go to this next one, as you can see, it says you just need to obtain 16 stars. So how this works is you have to complete the main objective, which is warm up. And once you complete all 7 missions, you're going to get 10 stars. Then when you complete all of these missions, say supply deployment operation, you'll get another 3. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff. You can get 20 stars out of this, but you only need 16 to move to phase 2. It kind of sucks because what you really need to do is just these 2, or you need to complete this one and then these 2. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's best to just do this and then this. It's going to be the easiest for star wise, but it is what it is. That's how you have to do it. After doing all that, I hope you understood it, because I was kind of confused by the stars. Okay, now there is also a thing that is a skin you can get for your 3x3 now, which is pretty cool, you know, and it's inspectable, which is that's doper. Is doper. Okay, I gotta stop using words from the 90s over here, boys, eh? So after you complete the 3x3, if you want to go to get the doper 3x3 skin here, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to complete 6 collector missions. So you're gonna have to do more than just 2, obviously. So you have to do another 4. I have to do another 4, and you have to complete all 7 fate contracts. Remember the ones that I was like, oh, why is this here? Blah, blah, blah. Those are there because if you want this skin, you're gonna have to punish yourself over and over again. So obviously they made these changes because they thought it was going to be easier for the players to keep track of stuff and just know what they have to complete to go on to the next phase. I don't know how I feel yet. I still am getting used to it. I think it is pretty straightforward once someone like me explains it to you, or you kind of just get the hang of things. What do you think? I always like to hear feedback on this. I actually don't mind it now that after I just struggled and I try to figure out the star system. I think it is easier, but that's just me. Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video and talk about Raptor and how everyone thinks he's OP, and he is definitely in some ways, and I just don't feel like he is entirely broken or he needs to entirely be wiped out of this game. I think they just have to tweak a couple things, and I think he can be better. But let's talk about him as a whole. So we do have to separate this into two different categories, because I think there's two discussions we have to have. One is when you're in a full squad and you fight another team and they have a Raptor on their team. And the other discussion is when we're solo and we're fighting a full team that has Raptor on their team. Let's break down his abilities first and maybe talk about where I would change things. First is the EMP grenades. Now, these I think don't need really much tweaking at all. I think they are really good, but they're not super overpowered where you're having a meltdown when they're trying to get you out of corners or anything. Yeah, he does have two of them. You could try to make an argument that he should only have one, but I think they're just balanced. I do. I don't think they're that bad at the moment. Again, it's only been 2 days with me playing against Raptor, but I never have been getting EMP'd and been like, yeah, get rid of this guy. And I think that's because every other ability he has is so OP. The one ability that I think it overpowers everything on his kit, yes, he does have the hummingbird thing as his ultimate, which is really good. His passive is seeing footsteps and blah, 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 blah. But his Falcon drone is so OP, you guys. This is where I have a huge issue. So not only does this Falcon drone only have a 35-second cooldown, 35 seconds, but it's also right away, right when you get into your raid, right when you know, from second one of you dropping into raid, you get this ability unlocked right away. You don't have to wait for a cooldown like a lot of other characters' abilities. Nope. You can spawn, throw the drone up, and go to spawns that you know someone might be at and get, you know, just info on them. Not only that, but they have automatic targeting, or not targeting, but they have automatic like finding of players, which is nuts. They also, this Falcon drone can drop an EMP on players, and he can dive bomb, suicide himself, and cause damage to the other players. This is crazy, okay? This drone is by far so overpowered, and the fact that it's only a 35-second cooldown is just mind-blowing to me. How can we fix this, you're saying? Okay, here's my take on maybe different ways we can fix this Falcon drone. One, it can't go as high as it can right now. Like, if you watch some of the footage that I have today and you're seeing me Falcon drone, you can go so high up into the air and just get such an aerial view of the whole place that it's super crazy. You can also make it so his cooldown's not 35 seconds, maybe at least a minute, I would say. And then the other thing I would say to do is maybe that he doesn't automatically target players. Like, you have to press a button when you see them, and then that way it'll spot the enemies for your other teammates to see them. All I know is probably out of all his gadgets and whatnot, this is the one that's causing the most harm and the most frustration with a lot of players. So if we're gonna talk about his wing cam next, we definitely have to talk about his passive, the trace tracker, also at the same time, because they do kind of go hand in hand. So first thing is his passive. It's trace tracker. So what you can see is footsteps that got left behind by enemy players. And today, I think we saw some at 5 minutes. I know we definitely saw some at 4.5 minutes, where if you scan them, you can see their level, what character they are, if they're still in raid, if they're out of raid. And if you do see these footsteps and they're in raid, you can use your wing cam, and guess what? It'll ping that person no matter if they're 400 meters away, 100 meters away. It can ping them 5 times so you can see their exact location. Or what you can do is you can put the hummingbird on their shoulder so you can see where they're at, and, you know, maybe the teammates who they're playing with, what they're doing. But you don't have to just find footsteps, right? That's not the only way you can use the wing cam. You can actually go to already looted suitcases or objects in the game, anything someone else has looted but you, and you can scan that. And that really doesn't have a time limit. Like, where the footsteps, they eventually go away. If you just go to a box that someone looted, you can see if they're still in raid. And we saw one today that was 25 minutes ago. That's too long, you guys. There needs to be a limit on that. I'm going to say that right now. Footsteps should be way less than 5 minutes. And looting container, that whole surveillance system there, bring it down. 25 minutes, I can see someone from 25 minutes ago, get out of here. Now in extraction shooters, information is king, right? Like sound. Sound is really valuable to you because you're trying to listen to where they are to get information on them. But if you can just ping them through a wall and they get pinged 5 times, that's pretty overpowered. Now, I think where my big frustration with Raptor comes in is definitely when it comes to counters. Like if you think about Luna, right? Luna is a very powerful recon character who before Raptor, everyone had issues with. But the thing is, you can counter her bow by just being in a building, or you can have Nox's ultimate ability, or if you're toxic and you threw her gas grenade on the ground and you were inside of it, it wouldn't detect you, her bow wouldn't be detecting you. I don't know if you know that about toxic, it's pretty cool. But with Raptor, sorry, there's no counter to him, right? As long as he sees your footsteps, or he saw the bag that you were looting, and then he finds where you are, and then he goes to that location, guess what? He'll find more of your footsteps, and then it's just going to keep going over and over and over until you end up having to fight or you have to extract. That's probably my biggest gripe. There's no counter. You can't counter him. So the first day of this game's release, I was playing Raptor in a group, and today when I'm recording this video, I was playing solo the whole time. Now, when you're playing as Raptor against another group, the one thing that is a positive is when you do find these players, you don't really have many abilities aside from ping, which I understand is pretty friggin' devastating. But aside from pinging the other players, for your other teammates and your EMP grenades, you don't really have many offensive capabilities. Yeah, you do still have the Falcon. Okay, you have the Falcon drone, which is pretty good with dive bombing and EMP grenades, but that can be shot from the sky. Again, they do need to tweak things, but I don't think it's as bad as, let's say, soloing. Where I have a huge issue with Raptor is when I'm playing solo, because if you guys don't know, I solo a ton. I would say like 90% of my gameplay, maybe 80, is me just playing by myself and trying to go against teams of 3 or teams of 2 or whatever. And that is where I'm having the biggest issue with Raptor, because if you're fighting a team with a Raptor on it, you're screwed, right? Like it's just, it's over. Like they're going to keep hunting you. And because you're solo, you can't really do anything. You can't get positions on them. They're always going to find where you're like flanking to, or where you're trying to get a different angle from. Today, whenever I saw someone had a Raptor on their team and I was playing solo, I just ran away and extracted, especially if they saw me, or I ran to a different part of the map because I was playing a ton of Lay Alley. This is where I have a problem, because there is not a really big player base for solo extracts, but there is a big enough community that only likes to play solo, and this is just devastating to them. I get it. We're not getting a solo mode. That's fine. I'm still okay with that. But the fact that we have an operator now that will just completely destroy if you're solo is devastating to me, and it does sadden me. Now, I did play all day. The one good thing I will say is I didn't run into many Raptors, and that is kind of like my, I would say, saving grace right now. What I think is going to happen is, because he doesn't have many offensive capabilities, I think he's not going to be played as much after the first 3 weeks. Right now, he is the new shiny toy. Everyone wants to use him, but I think Luna is still so much better than him, because Luna can still spot most players, and she does have grenades. She has those shock arrows. She can still do a lot when you do find where the other players are. And let's just be honest, really good players don't really need the pinging, because they're just really good players, and they know where you are anyways by just having sound cues and stuff like that, or they just know how most people play. Yeah, he's really overpowered. They're going to tweak some things, but I think at the end of the day, it is going to be okay. At least that's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed, you guys. I have huge fingers crossed, but they do gotta tweak this character. That is 100%. I think we can all agree there. There needs to be tweaking to his abilities, especially that damn drone. So what happens if I am wrong though? What happens if Raptor becomes a main staple in a lot of 3-man squads? I still want to play solo myself. What am I going to do? Well, I talked to the community today. We discussed it live on stream and we came up with 2 options. And I think both of them together are going to be the things that we do. So one is we're going to be playing D-Wolf a lot more. And the reason for that is once I get spotted by a Raptor, I'm just going to use his exoskeleton ability and run to extract as fast as possible. The second thing I'm going to be doing is having a combat stim on me always, so that I can use his exoskeleton ability and then combat stim up once I'm out of stamina and then run the rest of the way to extract. That's really going to be the only way you can counter the Raptor as a solo, is just get out of the raid and you know, just call it a mulligan and go again. I know this was a super long video, so I am going to try to wrap it up, but I always like to know your guys' opinion. What do you guys think of Raptor? Am I crazy to think he's overpowered? Is the community crazy to think he's OP? What would you like changed? How would you change them? All that stuff I want to know. I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Hey, subscribe to the channel. It's free for you guys. It does mean the world to me. Also, I do stream 4 days a week on twitch.tv and on this channel. Just until next time, I'll talk to everyone later.